Well, this is the large piece of wood that I'm working on, and this is part of the machine I need to glue down. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put a bit of glue on the corners. I'm going to screw it on as well, but I thought if I glue it first, it then gives me the opportunity to get it on without it sort of shifting on its own. So that will go onto here. There is a small pinprick that shows me where it goes. So it's the same. You see it's now gone equal all the way around, which I can see, and you'll have to take my word for it. Just push that down, because this is the low part of the machine. I'll just check make sure it's where it's supposed to be. I think that is exactly right. Yeah, that's perfect. So just leave that to set. If I just pull out with the camera, you'll see how big the wood is. It's a very long piece. It's the baseboard for the whole machine. So the bit in the house that you've seen already will go here, and then there'll be the big rotating cupcake at the end there. Well, that's what it's supposed to look like in my head anyway. So I'm going to let that dry for 2 minutes, and we can start thinking about this, because I need to put on here the horns, the bicycle horns that will come out here. But there's also the very large frosting tower that you've seen already. So I'll bring that in, and we'll offer that up, and then we can see how it's going. We can now see how it's going to go together. This is the piece that we had in the house with all the metal work on it, and this is the frosting tower. It was like that before, but it's actually going to go on the machine like that. What I want to do is just work out where I'm going to put everything, because I have to make sure I can get the wires through. I've drilled holes, but I don't know whether they actually go through. So I'm going to let this set first. I'm going to put a pencil in the hole, I'm going to put that on, and if it goes through, it's fine. If it doesn't, I'm in serious trouble. Well, not serious trouble, but trouble. But the 2 bike horns I showed you are going to go up here. So I need to drill 2 little back nuts to go on there, and then we can sort out how we're going to make that work. Plus also I need to put on the small box that's going to have the night light in it, the flashing light, looks like a flame. So that's going to go, probably going to go there, or something of that nature, so the red all ties in together. And probably put some valves on here as well that light up onto some bases. I've not thought about that yet. I'm just trying to get the whole machine built, and then I can do the nice little sexy bits. I think light up valves would look really cool on there. I need to put something on there because the leather just parted, which I thought it would, so I just put a little gauge on there or something. So if I put it that way around, you can see it from the end. The idea is to keep everything quite exciting and quite well, very steampunk. What I also want to do is, I've obviously got to get the rotator on there with the eye in it, but I want to put some metal work in. Well, I've actually managed to screw this onto the box now. It is actually a very large lamp holder, an industrial lamp holder to put a light in. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some of my copper tape. I'm going to wrap it around just the top. Actually, I might wrap it around it all. I've not stuck this one on as yet, so you can see if I start it at the bottom, and there's a scruffy bit, I can then just cover it up. So just peel it off. And start about there. Can't start too close to the base because it goes in on itself. It's tapered, so you cannot put the tape in on the tapered piece. I think I'm just going to take it across the top of that and then just cut it, as it cuts really well when you've got a decent scalpel. There we are. you'll be able to see, oh, it's come off. You get that little bit of a copper band. I'll just turn that round and I'll just trim the other piece off. I suspect I might need a new scalpel blade in. There we are. Yeah, that's the piece to go on there. So that just makes it a little bit less plain, and I'll put some little rivets in there as well. As you can see, I've actually got it fitted now, and I've put a little LED in the end. That's going to be an RGB flashing unit. I've screwed that onto there, and that looks pretty cool on there. It will actually be, in fact, that way when it's on the box. But I'm just going to let it dry for a little while. It's got a lot of epoxy in there, and I'm just going to go now and see if I can find some other bits that I need that I put in the kitchen. This is the worst bit. I've got to cut these with the angle grinder, and I'm quite scared of this actually. There we are. Got my wires left on my arms though. So that goes onto there, and then that will go on there with a piece of pipe in there. That should look pretty darn good. I think I've burnt all the hairs off my arms actually, joking apart, but never mind. I've got another one to do. I'll cut that and we'll come back and I'll show you how I'm going to put it all together. I have a device I think you'll like. It is an electric pipe cutter. This is brilliant. All you do is put your marquee pipe, put it in there and hold it tight. Bingo. It's worth its weight in gold, is that, I tell you. I have arthritis in my arms, and doing that you can cut both exactly the same size, so everything's perfect. Just a clever bit of kit. It's a bit heavy. I've had it for about 9 months. I've never charged the battery. There's also a little light in it. Clever. Right, okay, so what we need to do now, the horns are cut, both of them. Right over there. We need a little bit of glue, but with this glue we'll use the metal glue. I should just take a page out of the book. Yeah. I have to read it as I go, then I could be literate as well as creative. So I'll just push. Oh, I think it's an old tube. Is this? Oh yeah. This is a lot different. This adhesive. It's a lot thicker and a lot gloopier. So I will just mix that up. There we go. I'm going to put some into there. Doesn't matter if you get it all over the place because it's all going to be covered up. So that goes into there. Push down. Then this will go into there. If you use the connectors, it's always better to glue both bits at once because the glue is inclined to go to the other half of the connector, if you see what I mean. So when you try to put the pipe in future, it could have glue in it already and it wouldn't work very well. Just get my little damp cloth. There we go. That's number one. This takes a little bit longer. This one is 5 minutes. So you've still got plenty of time. But as you see, it's a lot gloopier. It's very good stuff. It's the best glue I've ever come across. I get it from a little company in Armley in Leeds near where we used to live. It's almost like going into an old shop, a Victorian shop. They have everything in there you could ever want. From taps to washers, to glue, screws, power tools, you name it, they sell it. And they're cheaper than B&Q, a lot cheaper than B&Q. So there we are, we've got the two trumpets. What we need to do with those now is I need to glue these pieces on. And these pieces will actually fasten it to the base of the box. So, a little bit more glue. You seem a long way away. Come a little closer. That's better. We're a bit closer now. Perfect. So, a little bit more glue there. Let's use the same stick. I know we've got glue on the handle here. I will just mix some more. And then I can leave this to set. I'll set in 5 minutes, but I'll leave it overnight and it's just like metal. But remarkably. There we go. One. And two. I don't solder things because if you solder things, the pipework goes discoloured. So I use the epoxy to bond everything together. So that's those, and that's those two from in there. So I'll do those at the same time. A little bit more glue. The epoxy is great. It's as strong as a solder, but it's a lot easier. And you haven't got to bother about if you're going to use solder, you can't put plastic parts on it because they'll melt. You've got to be careful not to burn your hands. But with this, you just put it on. Okay, it might be a slight skin irritant possibly, but I haven't had a problem with it. But some people may. So that goes in there. 1 and 2, and then they sit into those. So you've got like an intake for the ingredients in the machine. But I want to put some little rings on the outside, so they'll go onto there. I might even pop on a little grate or something. I've got some little grates that might be quite nice on the end. Those. I've got two of these. I think I have. Let's have a look. Yes. So I've got one there and another one there. So they'll sit on there and then they will sit into there like that. So you put your ingredients into the machine. This is going really well. I shouldn't say that, should I? Something's bound to go wrong. So while you've been away, I'll just bring it up to speed. I've actually now got this fastened down onto the base, as you see, and I've also got the back nuts in position ready to put the horns on, which are just drying in the house. Then I've also got the T on there, which I'm going to put some lights on. One of the lights you've seen already is the one with the red LED tube that we were doing yesterday, and that's going to go sort of there-ish. But I want to have a think about things. I've just put on top the box and the support for the flashing light that we're going to put on. So I say this is now stuck down, so this is not going anywhere now. So the next job I think is to decide what lights are going to go sort of here, and I'm going to need to get the back nut on there for the revolving turntable with the eye in. Then I can start working on this end, but I've also want to put some more railings up here, that kind of, there we go, put those up there to echo the shape of the one below. And then in the middle of there I want some light up valves, which I'll show you how I'm going to make in a little while. It's coming along beautifully. Well, I know it looks a little bit chaotic on this desk, but I am getting somewhere eventually. This is the motor turntable for the eye to go on. As we said earlier, I've put the ring on there, I've now got it fastened on, and I've got the base on it now, so we're all tidy there. What I need to do so I can actually fit that to a copper pipe is I need to put what's called a back nut, and this is a back nut. It's got a flat base on it and it's got a screw on it, but the screw fits one of these screw fittings there, so the pipe will actually go through that onto the machine. So what I need to do to start with, I just need to measure, but make sure I'm in the middle, because if you're not in the middle it'll look silly, and also it just won't fit properly onto the device. So all I need to do there, I'm about in the middle there, that looks middle to me. Use my brad awl, put a hole in the MDF. There we are. And screws. I'm using ordinary slot-headed screws. I normally use Posi-Dri screws, but with the coronavirus my supplier can't get them, so I'm having to do it by hand, which is hurting me somewhat because of my arthritis, but needs must. The machine I normally use is the electric screwdriver, but the electric screwdriver on slot screws is not brilliant. That's the electric one. It slides off to one side if you happen to get a little bit cockeyed, skew whiff. Both bizarre words I know, but the only ones I know. For my US viewers I do apologise. They'll just maybe be on the skew, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to put 3 screws in there. I'm building it as modules because I find it much easier to build pieces. You can also, if you build modules, you can build more than one piece at once. If you're working on the device itself, there we are, I'm going to make them all face the same direction. If you're building on the device itself, you have to wait for stuff to dry. So what I'm inclined to do is build it in pieces and then bolt it all together. It makes much more sense for your time. It's also a lot more interesting to do because you go from one thing to another. And I'm afraid this video may look like that to you, but my mum used to say I had a grasshopper mind because I jumped from one thing to the other. But it always comes together and it always works. I just need to follow certain rules. Oh yeah, that's on there. And then the screw fitment can go on there. It has a little 1/2 inch engraved on it there. I just want to make sure that it's facing the right direction. I know it's tiny, I know it's only a little bit, but that's what makes it worthwhile doing. So that goes onto there. Then we get one of these, which is just a nut off the fittings. I take them off when I don't use them and I put them in there, because you actually have to buy these separately. They're about 40-50 pence each, so it's quite a lot of money. So I've just noticed something. I'm looking for some tape. There we go. Just want to make sure that I notice there's a very small piece of wire showing through the end there. Shouldn't be, it's been soldered, so I'm just going to go around it. It should be fine. It may be just a spare piece, but better to be safe than sorry. So just slide that on now. The desk's a bit of a mess. I've had to tidy up, believe it or not. There we go, that slides onto there. And now, see that sits on a pipe, which then sits on a bend. So you would have, that would go up inside there, and then from there that goes to the machine itself. So I'll just let's do a little bit of measuring. I think, is that one stuck already? Might as well use that already. I actually have a piece ready made, which is nice. I've probably made it for another machine and then changed my mind, but either way it works for me. There we are. Not to pull it too much against the edges because it will strip the, there we go. See that now would sit that way up, and then that piece goes to the machine. So I just need to have a quick measure of the machine and I'll be back. Well, I've measured it and I'm right with 80mm. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use some of my epoxy glue, and I can't find my cocktail sticks, stroke toothpicks. I've put them down, they're on here, but it's such a mess I can never find anything. See if there's any more. Where have I put them? They'll be in plain sight. My mum, God rest her soul, she moves things. I can be working away in here. Everything's where it's supposed to be. They see, they're there. I'm sure I didn't see those. She moves things. She does in the house as well. Not spitefully. Just moves things and tidies up for me, which is nice. Right, okay, just unscrew that. Take that out. Take that out. Just unscrew that. We need to put a little bit in there just to lock it off, to make sure it's not going to spin around or move when it's on display. There we go. And the postman's here. And I'm back. It was the postman delivering some supplies. I've ordered some more glossy accents because I use it like water. Oh dear, I've got it out of the wires. Never mind, that won't hurt. There we go. And then that piece goes into that. Yeah, I put the wrong piece on then, which is quite easy to do, but it's not the end of the world. It just makes a mess. And so I need to see which way I want it to go around, because it's going to be on the machine that way, so I need sort of a nice side. See, that's a nice side there. So I'll just put that there for a moment. I need to put it into something to stand it up. There we go. And then I need the rest of the glue. I always put a lot on, and I think I mentioned before that I prefer to put a lot on and get it to work than for it to come loose. If it comes loose, it's an absolute disaster when you built it, because the epoxy resin that I use is stronger than a solder. So usually if a piece gets faulty or it comes loose, you've got to smash the machine to get it off to put a new piece on, and that's not really very good. The same goes when customers drop machines that I build. That's just as bad. So the way it goes in the machine is like that. So it'll be sat, that's the front of the machine, and that's the front there. So we'll just put that to one side to dry. There. I think I might have got some epoxy resin on one of these wires. It feels a little bit sticky. I'm sorry, I'm off camera. There we are. That's it. All sorted. I've also got the large one to do. Now the large one is the one that has the cupcake in the dome going round. So what I've got to do on this is I need to put on a base nut, back nut. What I'm going to do on there, I'm going to screw that into there, and then I'm going to get an extension tube, which are these little things. Basically it's like a collar. I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to do that, and then theoretically, if I'm correct, it goes on top of there. That will go on there. The cupcake will go on top and spin round on there. Now this is theory. Theory's alright. I'll just put that in some glue, I'll just get it off there. Theory's alright, but in practice it doesn't always work that way. I think it looks pretty good. I've not, because it's not lined up properly. But I think the cupcake, which is there, I think you may have seen the faux cupcake I bought. It looks very edible. Nearly eaten it twice. I need to put on there a little nut. Then there's the rotator to go on. You see, that's quite nice. It might be a bit high up, I don't know, but I'd prefer it to be at the top than at the bottom because it's such a large device. But I think I'll just have a play with that for 2 minutes and try and get the right height for the cupcake. Well, I've decided I need a little bit of decoration around there, and I'm using, it's like slug tape you get in your garden to keep the slugs off your pots. I think this is actually electronics copper tape, but it's the same thing, and it gives a really good finish. I buy it off eBay. You can get it any size from 3mm up to like 15mm. I think this is probably 10. Yes, it is. But it's nice because it gives a really nice finish. So I'll just decide where the back's going to be, because we don't really want to be seeing the join. Offer it up to start with. To try not to let it get too creased as you're putting it on. So it's actually not keen of being creased again and again. You end up with nasty marks in it. Just take it easy. There we are. Try and keep it in the middle if possible. It's a nasty habit of trying to wander. Let's have a look. Oh, coming to the end of the piece. And that is where it joins. So what I'll do there is I'll just pull it. If you rip it and rub it down, it disappears. If you cut it, you have problems because you end up seeing the lines. All I'm doing is just bouncing it down with my thumb. It then takes on some of the characteristics of the wood underneath. You get like a little hammered texture in it. I think that looks so much better. Just a little bit of interest, that's all. The devil, I believe they say, is in the detail. So let's put that in the bin. I'm not sure at all that I think it's too high as this. Now I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, but I think the easiest way to do it, possibly, would be to screw that directly into there. Take that piece off, screw that directly onto there. So it's very close to the base now. Let me just put that on there. Let's have a look and see how that looks. I've got to be very careful with this cupcake. Obviously there's the turntable yet to go on, which goes on top of there. I think that's probably better. I think it gives it more room at the top, it gives it more presence. So I think that is how I'm going to make it. Put the glove to one side. It's acrylic, but I don't want to drop it. I'll take the cupcake. Cupcake always goes back in its box, just in case. It wasn't cheap, so it needs to be kept nice and safe. So what I need to do now is take these two pieces off, and a hole needs to be drilled in the base. And what I'm going to do is I'll do exactly the same thing as I did with the other one, which is put one of these on the bottom. I've yet to put on the base piece at the bottom, and then that will be the same, and that'll have a join in it, an elbow in it, and it'll go into the machine. You see me make one, so you've got the idea for the second one, and I'll come back when this is done and we can talk about fitting it all to the machine. So it's now time to glue on the what's the wire cut at the back. The wire's pulling at the back somewhat for some reason. Ah, that's why. There we are. I had the base of it stuck onto the base was resting on the wire. Okay, so a little bit of the metal epoxy just to go around there. Should just pull that in. You're not able to see it. There we are. I shall just go and get a damp cloth. Wet wipe that. I've got a little bit of glue just on the outside. Don't really want that to be there. Want it nice and clean and shiny. There we are. Move a little bit down there. If you don't get it off now, it will never ever come off. And then some glue. Oops, there's it nearly fell over. Oh yeah. Goes in there. All around there. This will then hold this pipe in position and keep it level. Oh yeah. And then that just goes and slides into there. Right. And just have to make sure it's level. Just have a quick look. Oh yeah. That looks level to me. So that's the first piece on there now. Got to leave that to set, don't go anywhere near it. But while you've been away, I've had a bit of a change of mind regarding the horns. They were originally going to come straight out. But I've decided now that I'm going to put some bend pieces in it as well. Plus I've put 2 back nuts on there, and it's going to have the T's on there, and they're going to have some pipes that come out and then light up the big one that goes round. Plus I've also got to put 2 light up bars in there that say these are working. So what I'm going to do is leave that for a little while, and I'll see you in 2 minutes. I've created a little logo. They sent me their logo, so I've made it into a little badge to go on, the Auckland Cupcake Company, and that is going to go on there like that. I shall put that on in a moment when I've got myself sorted. So we've got, that's all now dry. This one, what I've done with this here, I've put it on at an angle, and I need to repeat it for the other side now, so the other side matches. And then we've got the 2 ingredient chutes. They just need a copper ring to go on there, or a brass ring, and some rivets, and that little bit is complete. We're getting there. But the more I do, the more I want to put on it, so it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. But hey ho, the customer will love it. Fingers crossed. Right, I'm just going to put some glue in here. We're going to glue the big rotor on the front now. The rotor, the turntable where the cupcake goes. So I don't get it on the base. And then just screw that into there. There we go. As tight as I can. Then I just need a little bit more glue, which I've mixed. A snappy cocktail stick. Typical. So that's when you buy cheap. Right, let's have a look. Plenty of that into there. Just lift it up so it doesn't all stick to the wires. We want it to go all the way around there. Doesn't do any harm on the wires, it's just we really want it to be on the pipe, the brass barrel rather. There we go. And then I'll just push it out of the way, and then we'll just push it into there. Just need to make sure it's level then. Okay, I need to put something underneath there just to bring it level. Let's see what we've got. Box wise, and I'm going to need some MDF, I think, to cut that out with. So a lot of the little circles that I have cut, I use these for this particular purpose of shimming it up, as it were. Oh, yeah. Let's just see if that's level. I'll do it by eye. No, I don't like that, it's too... Put the dome on, have a look. I think that is right now. Well, it's time to glue one of the final light clusters onto the machine. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pop it through there, and I'm going to put glue on the back nut first, as I did before, because if I do that I can screw the back nut up, then I can just ease these out and pop a little bit of glue in. That's lovely and level. A little bit of glue on the metal, the leather underneath. There we go. I just now need to leave that to set, probably for 20 to 30 minutes, and then we'll start making the bits for the top here. Well, I've just got these two last lights to put onto the top here and the two little valves that I've made. So what I'm going to do, I've already threaded this through. That then goes through into the box inside. Or should do. Let's have a look. There we go. And then this wire all feeds through, and it's attached at the other end to this. So by pulling the wire through, it gives me the opportunity to pop it in. So that goes there, like that. So what I'm going to do to be able to fasten it in, I'm going to feed all the wire into there. I'm not going to worry about the one at the other side yet, because I'm going to have to do something different with that, because I'm going to put between them a piece of copper pipe so it looks like they're both linked together. So put those into there. And that'll be the same as normal. All I need to do is to screw it in, and then it should stay where it is. I'll screw it in that way so I don't bang, and then I can just ease it out, put glue in, and then hold it or prop it up so it'll dry. So again, I'm using the Magic 5-minute metal epoxy. There we go. Need to get it mixed good together. It's two different colours, so when it's all a uniform colour, that's the colour you want. I keep saying it, but it is the best glue I've ever come across for this kind of thing. I'm not sponsored by them, I wish I was. Get some free glue then. So that will just pop that in there like that, and then try and find the start of the thread. There we go, that's the easy part, there we are. I think that might be it there. Yes, that's it there. So that's it onto there. Let's go and get a wet wipe, baby wipe, whatever we call them. There's a little bit of glue just on there, and I don't want that to stay on because it'll look untidy. Devil in the detail, as I always keep saying. Right, so all I need to do now is get the rest of that glue and then pop it into there. Get plenty to hold on to. That's why I've got my apron on today, because if I don't have my apron on, I end up getting glue all over my clothes. and ruining them. So I need the pliers. Has my mum moved them again? I think she has. There we go. And what I'm going to do with this, I'm just going to tighten it up as far as I can, and then I'll prop it up to dry. Just be careful not to scratch the fixings. And you see that now just needs propping up, so I need something to put something under there. I wonder if my piece of MDF will be the right thickness. I wonder. Let's have a look. Now it goes uphill. I'm going to have to. I think I'm going to have to use some of the MDF that I used before. Make a little stack. See if that's level. Nope, take one off. Just want it to be level and square. It's square this way from the machine out, and it's now level that way as well. So it's going to clear the dome, which is there. So that's fine. Let's leave that to dry now. I'm going to leave that probably for 10 minutes, half an hour, maybe longer, just so I know it's going to set. We are straight everywhere. Yes, I'm happy with that. So I'll be back in 2 shakes. Well, for you it's 2 shakes, for me it'll be about half an hour. And then we'll put the other one on, and then we can finish off by putting the valves on, and Bob's your uncle, we're all finished. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do exactly what I did with the other one. So just need to pull the wire out of there. There we go. Can hear it going round inside the box. I think that's it. What is it? Okay, so rest of the glue into there. I don't think it's going off already, is it? No. It is a little bit actually, to be honest with you. But I think we should be alright because we've got... There we are. Push that into there. And just tighten that one up. Just double check. Yes, that looks perfectly level to me. So that can then set. We'll set that up, and we'll come back to that when it's dry. Right, we are coming to an end of the build now. Those two are both on. That's the little flicker light. I've just put that in just so I don't forget. What I'm going to do now, I've got the 2 little valves that I made. One's red and one's green. All I need to do now is to get some of the metal epoxy glue. Put plenty on. Okay. So I'm going to do the back one first. I'm just going to put in the glue at the bottom, and the pipe theoretically should carry it round if I spin it. I say should because you know doesn't always go to plan, does it, as we all know. Can't even get it off the book at the moment. There we are. That's it. And then just some into there like that. This is the metal glue, so it will glue obviously metal to metal, metal to wood. There we are. So twist it round, and that looks tickety-boo. I don't think I've got any. Have I got any glue on the outside? Just a merest fraction. I'm just going to get a wet wipe. Again, I just want to make sure. You probably can't see it, but I can see it. It's just a fraction. And it's got to be 100% perfect. I've just made it loose. Oh, yeah. That's number 1. And then we'll do the second one exactly the same way. There we go. And again, just run it round the inside. So if you get it on the outside, it doesn't matter, we've got a cloth, we can wipe it off. There we go. There's a little bit on there more than the other one, so I'll just wipe that off. There we go. There we are. I think that is right. Yeah, that's perfect now. Just leave that on there to set. Now the machine is now complete. What we'll have to do now is let it dry overnight just to make sure everything is set 100%, and then tomorrow I'll show you, we'll wire it all up and we'll give a test run. I think it's going to look absolutely brilliant. It's taken long enough, and thank you for sticking with me, but I think it's worth it. The customer will really like it. Fingers crossed. I was so excited I connected it all up and didn't film it, sorry. But it is now complete, so let's have a look.
I'd like to say a huge thank you to all of my angels, because without you, these videos would not be possible. Thank you.